Welcome to Atlanta, where now it is the Xfinity Series turn here at Atlanta, but now we are under the lights here for some Saturday evening action here in the Xfinity Series. As earlier today we had an exciting truck race, but now it's the Xfinity drivers' turn to go around this intermediate track, this 1.5 miler at Atlanta, where now, because it is the nighttime, there's going to be a lot more grip, so these drivers are going to be quicker, and they're also going to be flying through the corners. We'll see how much of a struggle it is in the turns, because in the truck series we saw a lot of drivers just not able to hold the bottom and slide up the racetrack, but from what I saw in practice earlier today, these drivers were able to hold the bottom well. So we'll see how much different tonight's race is compared to the race earlier today in the truck series, and we have some drivers pulling double duty today that also ran the truck race. But Peyton is not one of them, and he has gone out and won the pole here for Alberto Motorsports, racing in the Cup Series tomorrow. And after having a solid run in the Xfinity Daytona race, now he's going out here second race and has won the pole next to Wolfie. But here in the booth today we got Juan with Mac. Well, Juan, after the truck series race we had earlier today that had just utter chaos, what do we expect tonight for this Xfinity race?
I'll expect a lot of the same thing, just those more inexperienced guys kind of struggling for the grip. Although the track is cooler, it should provide much more grip as we get further into the night.
Yeah, I agree. As kind of looking through the grid here, the first rookie I noticed is Cole in 8th. I'm not 100% sure if he has turn laps around this track at Atlanta, but he is a driver that does have experience in the Cup and Xfinity Series levels. But his first full-time season, he is the first rookie on the grid. He'll be 8th leading this field. He'll be 8th in row 4 here. I also see Raven Fox in the 41. Now, she is going to be making her second career start. That is the first rookie that I know for a fact has not raced around this track. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rookies hold up, how the veterans hold up, and how the bushwhackers hold up. Because I do expect this to be a lot different compared to the truck series. We'll see if we have the same amount of chaos when it comes to wrecking. We have a lot to find out, and we have 81 laps to figure that out. 38 cars. I think we are ready to jump into the starting grid for today's race. In row 1, we have Peyton, one of our Cup drivers, next to Wolfie, our first Xfinity regular. Back to row 2, Flower next to TXN. Row 3, Slash and Nexus Code. Row 4, Javier next to Cole. Row 5, Doug, who raced in the truck race earlier today, next to Dylan. Row 6, this is Commander. Yep. Okay, I'll do that again. Row 6, we have Commander next to Raven. And in row 7, what a nice qualifying effort for Perry. He's next to Mac in the 44.
Row number 8, Boko Blitz in the 54 alongside Redeem in the 10. Row number 9, Bug in that 50 machine next to Arctic in the 53. Row number 10, Sean on the inside of the number 9 alongside CJ Will in the 37. Row number 11, Dalton in the 48 alongside Spend in the 30. Row number 12, Sean in the 7 and Chase in the 04. Row number 13, Sheldon Preet on the inside next to NASCAR Sim on the outside in the 8. And row number 14, Sup NASCAR in 8 in the 89 and Misty in the 77.
15, we have Gino Kepit, a surprising figure back here in the 97 of Cam. Row 16, Mike, and another surprising figure back here in Matthew, the Atlanta Ace. And then let's go to row 17. We have Data and Witty, so a little bit surprisingly for a Sunbelt car. Row 18, we have Jack and Breck Blue. And then rounding out our field will be Noah and Bella.
Yep, 38 cards here today, and of course some guys like, of course, Matthew, Data, and Witty starting a little bit further back than usual. Might have just made a mistake in qualifying, like a lot do at a track like this with not much grip, as of course qualifying was in the daytime. So track conditions are going to be a lot different, and we're about to find out if these drivers can handle it as we are ready to do the command to fire engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines!
Crank it up. Okay, fire them up now.
After what we saw in the truck race, and I'm sure a lot of these Xfinity drivers were watching, and some of them are in this race, What do we expect today? Well, now we are under the lights. A few more laps from the truck race, 75 and trucks 81 in Xfinity. But we're under the lights, so more grip and more speed. But this grueling racetrack, these drivers love it because it is such a skill racetrack, and we're going to see who's going to be the best driver today. Who's going to be the one that gets away from the others and has the best chance to win today? Will it be one of the drivers on the front row? Peyton and Wolfie lead the field to green. Into the tri-oval they come, and we are underway at Atlanta. Peyton into the gas first. We're green at Atlanta. Peyton with a fiery start. He's going to clear big time off in the turn one with Flower taking second. What a start for the inside line. Up to speed here, and into turn 3 for the first time. They are flying around this racetrack. Oh, Perry way off the track into Nexus code. I think Perry underestimated how much speed he was carrying into that corner. Kind of ran the 13 up the track. Peyton leads the first
Well, I think
lap.
also I think he got a bump there from the 54 Boko Blitz to really help him there. He got absolutely launched up the track.
Big checkup from the 41 of Raven. Sorry, Juan. Big checkup from the 41 of Raven. I think there might have been a checkup. There might have been some contact, but that slowed her up big time. Look at the run from the 52 of Commander. Here comes Javier in the 2. And right away, different to the truck race, we're already getting quite spread out really quickly. And these drivers on the top lane are struggling. The top has not came in yet. The bottom is the way to go in the early going.
Yeah, not much like what we saw earlier in the truck race. Some of the drivers could kind of make that top lane work. Not seeing a lot of that here at the start of this one. We'll see how it rubbers in throughout the night, and see if the drivers can make up any ground there on the outside lane.
You can see here it's a multi-groove racetrack, though. You can see drivers are working all the lanes, but even though it's multi-groove, it's all about what lane works best for you. And for a lot of these drivers in the early going, it looks like the bottom is the way to go. It's the way for Peyton because he fired off. And he is taking the lead and trying to run away from Slash. How about Javier up to third? And just look at the SW cars off to a blazing start here. Commander and Boko Blitz up here. As yeah, the bottom lane is just rolling right now. There is a lot of grip on that bottom lane. And you're seeing drivers all over the place back here. Are they 4 wide back here? Cam, Redeem. No, they got out of it, but what a start to this one. These guys they are ripping around this racetrack. They are flying. It is a fast and it is a slick racetrack, and you're seeing it right now. How about Javier up to second in the early going?
Yeah, Javier up to second. I think the difference here in the nighttime now is that the top has practically no grip. All the speed's on the bottom, and these runs, compared to the truck race, these runs, they seem larger, and you can already kind of see we're starting to already get spread out, and it's lap 6. We did not really see that in the truck race.
I mean, the track is still rubbered up a little bit from the truck race. It was just earlier today where we had qualifying in practice for trucks and Xfinity. Practice qualifying for both trucks and Xfinity and the truck race all today. So there's been a lot of action on this racetrack, and this track is as fast as it's probably going to be all weekend with all the rubber from the races earlier today. And because it's in the nighttime, these guys are flat flying around this racetrack. And look at this, even Cam way up the track. Even the best of the best in the NAPA Sim are struggling here in the early going. No one knows how to handle this racetrack, mainly because these drivers are so used to racing in the daytime. Nighttime at Atlanta is an oddity in the NAPA Sim Series, but we're racing under the lights, and these drivers aren't familiar with that. We're seeing it right now because there is a lot going on at the front and the mid-packs.
It is important for these drivers to note that it is a much more slick racetrack than they're used to. A lot of the time, as you mentioned, races during the day.
Might have had a little bit of technical difficulties here with Juan, but still, you can see Gino kept trying to make his way forward. Some NASCAR's gained some spots early, but some guys haven't. TXN has drifted back. Colin's drifted back. NASCAR Sim has drifted back. We're 4 wide at Atlanta. NASCAR Sim up the track a little bit. Clears the 13 of Nexus code. Chase in the 04 trying to gain some spots. Here comes Gino Kep, who DNQ'd Xfinity Daytona, and now he's trying to trying to make some moves here in his first race this season. And he is moving, making some great moves in that MP Motorsports number 38. This MP Motorsports team has gone through a huge rebrand after last season with the win from Perry, and they're showing it, doing well in the intermediate, but look at how spread apart it is getting already. This is the difference between trucks and Xfinity. A lot more skill for these Xfinity drivers, but at the same time, a lot more speed, a lot more grip. It's causing a lot more drivers to get spread apart. And we're seeing that right now with Peyton still in control with Slash behind him.
I think Slash was gaining for a little bit, but now Peyton's starting to keep that gap once more. It is mainly bushwhackers here in this top 10, and that has practically been the expectation all throughout. Oh, Commander, very, very slow on that top line, but that's practically been the expectation all offseason, that during the regular season, these bushwhackers will absolutely dominate these races, and it looks like we are already starting to see that as we have a top 4 of bushwhackers, at least on the ticker.
Dalton up to 4th, ran the Daytona 500, great run for him. Xfinity champion up here, and he's doing well, nearly going, trying to run that middle lane, now back in line. I don't know why he did that, lost a lot of speed there, but no one's really getting away. While Payton has the lead and is keeping it, he's not gapping the 51 of Slash or the 08 of Doug. They're keeping up. As we're already 12 laps in, this race is gonna fly by if we stay at this pace. And I mean, back here, Arctic is struggling, Cam is struggling, Whitty is struggling. A lot of drivers that you'd expect to be at the front of the field just can't get their car down early on here. Good runs early on here. Mike's having a good run, Gino kept. But some drivers are just struggling, aren't that accustomed to this track and racing under the lights here, as they are stacked up second on back with Doug up to second, Dalton third, and then look at them, they're all over the place back here. Mac almost just turned Commander. A lot of contact right there. How about Sean getting in the mix? Go ahead.
3 wide here for a spot inside the top 10. Oh, 4 wide there for a split second. Commander on the outside, just not feeling the way he wants to. He seems a little nervous on his feet in the top lane. He's gonna go back to the bottom as we see down the backstretch.
Yeah,
by the way, that 44 is absolutely flying right now. I think he's now already up to P4. He started mid-pack on the outside line, on the disadvantaged line. But ever since getting off that outside line, that 44 is absolutely flying. I think he will get by Dalton here in the 1 and 2, possibly.
Yeah, Max started in the middle of the pack, and he is up to 4th. NAPA Auto Parts on that car, just vintage for this driver, and you can always recognize who's in that car. As Peyton holds the lead, someone that has regressed in recent years, but in the Xfinity Series right now, he is cruising up in the front. How about Doug in second? 2 drivers that have struggled in recent years, leading the pack at Atlanta, and they're doing a good job here. Peyton has had no contest at all. Just setting a good pace here, and just, I mean, he's not really getting away from anyone, but he is holding the lead pretty nicely here. As Slash is faded back a little bit, Flowers back into the top 5, and Sean getting some nice needed experience up here in the front of the field. Of course, a rookie. He has quite a bit of experience in all 3 series, but heading into the season, there were a lot of question marks, and we're going to get a lot of those questions solved today here at our first intermediate. Sean up into the top 5.
Down this backstretch again, Commander right on the tail of 54, gonna try and stay as close to the inside for Flower. This is for a 6th place spot, it seems. And off 4, Commander's gonna be able to hold it for now.
The Commander takes a spot from Boko Blitz. Dolan maybe running down Peyton, as Doug has lost 2nd and 3rd. And we might see our first challenger for the lead here. If Dolan gets a good run here, he does. He pulls right to the bottom. Might have did it a little bit too early. Can he side draft? Peyton's going to shut the door. Now that's going to bring Mac right into the equation. Peyton's starting to struggle now. Maybe the tires are beginning to fade a little bit, and it's more accustomed to Dalton and Mac. Here comes the 48 Ally Chevy. Can he get to the inside of Peyton? Yes, he will. Battle for the lead at Atlanta for the first time, 19 laps in.
Oh, and here comes Doug flying in.
Yeah, Peyton held the lead in that middle lane. Something I was worried about after seeing how the beginning of this race started. Held the lead well. Now trying to set the pace once again, but Dalton right on him. We're bringing a lot of cars in. Peyton is struggling now. Dalton's going to try again, or maybe Mac's going to try. Makes a move for second.
Yeah, but I think now Peyton's calling a stack up right now. Sorry, Juan, you can go ahead.
48, or sorry, excuse me, 44 didn't quite have the run to get to the inside of 48 for second. Here he comes now off of 2 down the backstretch. Whole top 5 under a blanket now. 05 really falling off the pace here.
Yeah, Dalton clears the second. Oh, Doug had a big check up there. Maybe carry too much speed. You don't want to drift up into that wall. That could damage your car. And what a move from Mac. Dalton looked to the bottom, kind of hesitated, and Mac took advantage. But will this actually maybe give Dalton the preferred lane? No. Mac up to second. Peyton playing insane defense. Maybe putting a bit of aero blocking, trying to put some air on that second place car, get them a little bit tight, and it's worked, but it's only going to work for so long because Mac is right there. And now Commander's back up to third. We're seeing a lot of these drivers here. They're not going to wait around any longer. Here comes Mac, trying to side draft for the lead. What a battle for the lead we've had the last few laps, but can someone actually take the spot? Mac drives it in. Absolutely full sends it. Mac to the lead in Atlanta.
And 05 already getting past for that second spot. You can really see how to get out of the gas when Mac made that move to the inside. Really kind of messed up his momentum there. All the way back to 6th or 5th.
How about Ceen into the top 10? Haven't seen him yet today. He's making moves. There are a lot of Cup drivers or former Cup drivers up here setting the tone here as guys like Flower have beginning to drift back. Wolfie and Slasher struggling in the 51 car. I want to get an update real quick on Cam. Has he moved forward? Not at all. I don't know what is going on with this 97 car, but they might need a caution to make some adjustments. Not a good run here early on for this 97 car. How about Dalton to the lead? Our defending champion to the lead at Atlanta.
And he might have some reinforcements coming here. The 35 of Dylan is coming.
Funny enough here, despite being our champion, Dalton has yet to win a race. Just gonna point that out right now. Here comes Mac once again. Looking at the bottom, can Dalton put a block? Exactly that. And yep, you can see right there, there's the aero block right there. Mac loses a little bit of speed right there. Got tight, but it's gonna get a bit of a run off 4. Got a little bit of clean air. And no one's shaking anyone here. This has just been a straight up brawl right now. And great battle. They're both running the middle lane. Now Dylan has the clean air. Will he get a run on Mac? Doesn't look like he'll have enough to take second, but he has a run. But now Dalton in the Ally Chevrolet, a very familiar paint scheme, ran pretty much this exact scheme last season, leading the field 25 laps in a big green flag run to start this race. And I mean, different to the last generation of car, this next generation car, people have predicted caution-free races. It won't be an oddity in this new generation. And I mean, with how spread out this race is getting, and with the amount of skill a lot of these drivers at the front have, a lot of the experience these drivers have, they're not going to make many mistakes, I think. So this really could just come down to who has the most pace and who has the most long-run speed. And right now, it's looking like Dalton, Mac, and Dylan have it. Commander's been keeping up as well, but Ceen's also been moving forward.
And you see it's about an 1/8 of a second gap from 1st to 4th, and then it's about another 8 or 9/10 back to the 5th place spot. This top 4 is pulling away.
Peyton.
Albeit, yeah.
Go ahead.
Albeit, yeah. If you have seen, I've seen some of these pretty big gaps. One thing happens and you can catch right back up. So unless you're like very far behind, if you're a fast car, you could certainly catch back up.
How about 3 wide for second with the trio of Cup drivers? Commander thinks better of it, and Dylan struggled to hold. That middle lane here is going to lose a little bit of speed. Can't carry the momentum here, and Commander will take 3rd here. Looking mid-pack here, back of the pack. Up traffic will become a thing very soon if we continue to stay green here. Here's Flower. How about the run that Javier's having? Solid run inside the top 15. This is a driver that is kind of questioning his future. And there's been a lot of talk about how he needs to impress this season. and started off at Daytona with a top 10, I'm pretty sure. And now running in the top 15 today at Atlanta. Good run for Javier so far in that Takis machine. Very familiar scheme as well. This scheme has been running since he started racing in the NAPA XFINITY Series.
How about a half a second here to the second place car? But as you mentioned earlier, lap traffic is going to come into effect. Oh, as you see, the gap closed about 3/10 that lap. Good lap for the 44, but it's all going to be about navigating this lap traffic. Who can do it the best? And I think who can do it the best will come out on top, especially if we stay green.
Yeah,
We have some new players possibly entering. I see Bug, I see CJ, I see Peyton coming back into the mix. I see TXN starting to approach the front here. And if you are pretty much within, as I say, top 15 or so, you could probably go for the lead because the gaps are pretty big. But we have already proven that you can, with just one mistake or even just being fast, you can make up those gaps very quickly and very easily.
Yeah, I've noticed Data, who started in the very back, has clawed his way forward. TXN's making his way back forward. Haven't seen much of Beaches Empire right now, chasing the 04. And there's the 97 of Cam. Just rough day so far here. And there's Cole at Arctic. Very rough starts for some drivers here who might just not be accustomed to this racetrack here. New scheme on Breck Blue, very nice looking scheme, but he'll be one of those guys that might be getting left soon. I mean, if you look at the ticker, the average speed is 187 miles an hour. These cars are tuned up. It is slick. And these drivers are flying around this racetrack. Here comes Dylan, catching up to his driver. He's not going to be patient with Dolan. He's going to go for the lead, because even though that's his driver ahead of him, Dylan's only here for wins. And he really wants momentum carrying into tomorrow's race, because he has not won a cup race in over a season. So he is trying to get some momentum coming. How about Payton, who hasn't won in multiple seasons, trying to move his way forward. Mac back in the mix. Bunch of cup drivers everywhere surrounding the Xfinity champion.
Everybody
Mention that. Sorry, Juan, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention the 05 fell off the pace earlier, fell all the way back to the 6th place spot, now back up to 3rd. Good recovery so far. Long way to go, though.
Long way to go. We're not even halfway.
Last season for this Atlanta was a standalone race, and we saw an extremely strung out race that had only 13 cars finish on the lead lap. It was a playoff race too. Only 13 cars finished on the lead lap. Now, do I think we'll see that level of insanity? Highly doubt it. But here's Dylan going for the lead on Dalton, his teammate technically. But I think if we stay caution free, we might see a lot of lap cars.
Oh, man.
Oh, we might be going, but here they might be not wanting. They might be wanting to do something about that no caution streak. They almost went 4 wide for a second. Dalton thinks better, backs out. Mac looks like he'll split the middle of 3 wide to keep second.
Yeah, Commander was in the gas there, but then carried a little bit too much speed. They went 4 wide into the corner, and we saw 5 wide in the Truck Series race. So I'm sure these drivers know, let's not get cocky, let's not get stupid. We're not even at halfway. But again, yeah, the pace that these drivers are putting on is unbelievable compared to the truck race. As, hang on. Are my eyes deceiving me? They might just be. I thought I saw skid marks, but it doesn't look like it. That is my mistake. Oh, Javier's got a lot of damage, guys. Something might have occurred. Oh, a lot of damage on the 2 car of Javier. Is there any collateral somewhere else in the field? I think Slash is drifting back. Something might have happened. Let's actually take a look at what happened real quick. Here's a replay. Slash is just going to enter turn 3, and he just straight up did not enter on the bottom. He entered in the middle, and I think Javier thought he was going to have more room, but Slash just gave him no room on entry. He entered in the middle lane and just completely screwed up everything, and poor Javier, who was running in the top 10, will be victim of Slash, who just straight up has not been good today. Javier's been a lot better than Slash so far. Rough situation for Javier. Back live here after the replay, and we have a bout for the lead between 2 friends and 2 veterans. Mac to the inside of Dylan. Mac trying to take the lead. These are 2 drivers that want a win so badly, especially that 44 machine. Mac to the lead. Here comes Commander, side draft. He's going to take second.
we are approaching that lap car, number 47 of Bella.
And there are the skid marks that I saw. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Javier over the radio and said, keep me away from that 51 post race. So not happy with the 51 car. We'll see if they get back to each other on track. Doesn't look like it though, because they both got some pretty severe damage that will just straight up ruin the race. They will not be fast the remainder of this race. I wouldn't be surprised if they get lapped very soon here, as here comes Commander right on the back bumper. Right there, just not letting Mac go away. And is he gonna make a move here? I think Mac is trying to play with him. We'll see if Commander makes the move on Mac. Runs the middle lane. That's gonna get Commander the clean air on the bottom. But Mac just holds the middle lane better. We've had a lot of battles for the lead so far, and we are now seeing the gap begin to form between some of our Cup drivers. Mac, Commander, and Dylan are starting to gap this field here, running away from the rest of the pack here. TXN is the first Xfinity driver running fourth. What will Bella do? Will Bella fight for her left? No, she's going to move out of the way and let Mac get to the inside.
These guys caught the lapper at a pretty solid time on down the front straightaway. 52 got a little held up on the lap car. You see the gap start to form. Had to get out of the gas.
Yeah, Bella got out of the way. She went way up the track and let the leaders by. Class act. Bella's been in this situation before, and she knows to be smart. I thought Dylan was going to get into the 52 there, but let off. And now this is where Mac might be in his, where Mac might just be in his prime, because he is starting to slowly gap as these two battle, and Mac is really good maneuvering left traffic. We will see how he does here as we look here at this battle. Fourth on back. Great runs for Dalton, TXN, and Scene, three of our Xfinity drivers, and there's CJ hanging on as well. This is right around the back half of the top 10. Sean has fallen back to 11. So yeah, this is right around the top 10.
Doug and Peyton side by side there, two bus rackers and pretty much a sea of Xfinity regulars. Peyton's gonna back off there, and do note though, with the lap cars, they will also affect these battles downstream. We show them with the leaders obviously, but they will also affect battles downstream as these guys start catching up to that 47.
Yeah, the gap from third to fourth is almost 2 seconds. We have seen the drivers that are now going to be ones that are quickest, and the gap is starting to form here. But as you look here, I want to get a quick update real quick here on what is going on, because I noticed this on the ticker. The 04 of Chase is struggling. He came over in the radio, reported this car is too tight. If we don't get a caution, we are screwed. So Chase right now just hanging on in the 24th position. Not a good run for Chase so far. Raven, a rookie, right ahead of him. She's having a good run for her first time here in Atlanta. She'll get better throughout the season. Wolfie is faded back, our outside pole sitter, and Cam is finally beginning to move forward, but still uncharacteristic speed and performance from this team. Great run for Mike. We have time here to settle all this as Mac is beginning to gap a little bit. Mike, for this San Angelo team, 17th is great. Great run for Mike so far. Data's beginning to move forward. Bug, our Daytona winners, kind of begin to fade back a little bit. And how about our previous Atlanta winner last season, NASCAR Sim, solidly in 11th. Good run for him, as these guys have all maneuvered Bella. But back to the front, it's all Mac in the 44, trying to keep control of this race. And if we have a scenario where we go caution-free, I don't know if they're going to catch this 44. Commander and Dylan are the only two that are keeping up, and I think Jack definitely held up Mac that lap because they gained 3/10 that lap.
Yeah, gonna give that Commander machine an easy time, same as Dylan. That's gonna be advantage to them. And but these two are also battling, and obviously, if you're in that 44, you want them to keep battling because you're gonna gain from it. Also, they lap Breck Blue. Yeah,
Breck Blue's been lapped. Jack has been lapped, and there might be one more. Nope, just Bella. Breck Blue gets way out of the way. Scene up into the mix. He's not used to being this high up. Back to full time this season. Had some good runs in the Xfinity Series last season. Was very strong, but now back full time after a lackluster season in Cup. And first race on intermediate, and you are right away seeing his potential. Running 6, battling TXN, who was a playoff driver last season. And there's our defending champion, Dalton, right there. Jack's going to get out of the way big time. TXN under Dalton for 4th.
Yeah, Scene has an Atlanta win. He won Atlanta 2, I believe, in season 1 of Xfinity. And he's going to obviously be a threat all season long. He will definitely be fast driving for himself.
Yep. As Mac goes around Misty, who had a good run in the truck
Commander
series.
is gained.
Yeah.
He's actually Max struggling in this lap traffic.
Yeah.
And I think
Big
Commander
run.
might just be the better car in lap traffic. Oh my.
Yeah, you saw Mac. What? You notice how he struggled to hold the bottom there off turn 4. I think that car is starting to get a little bit tight. And I think Commander's taking advantage of it as the tires have began the war. I think, but Mac had a good entry right there, but can he maximize it? No, he entered too high, and I think with too much speed. Here comes the 52 of Commander, but he lost the juice down that back straightaway. He had a run, but the juice just gave out here. Is not a good day for Spend in the 30. He'll be the next left car.
Good corner there for the 44 of Mac. You guys may remember a couple laps ago, the 05 of Peyton was up battling for the 3rd, 4th spot, all the way back to the 8th spot now.
Yeah, Peyton led the first, I think, 21 laps of this race, and ever since then, it's been a switch between Dylan, Dalton, and Mac. I don't know if Commander's actually seen the lead yet, but he's running 2nd right now. And again, I feel like Commander's best when Dylan's not right up on him. I think Dylan is faster than Commander, but I think Commander is just better managing the air. And I think if Commander can get to Mac, he will pass Mac, but I think if Dylan gets to both of them, Dylan will be the leader. He just needs to get around the 52.
I think just what I was mentioning, that number 7 of Scene, we might need to put him on the radar. He is starting to gain quick on the leaders.
Down to 1.7 seconds. He has been running the fastest laps on the racetrack the last 5 laps. Scene is moving here. Misty gets a little bit of a run on him there, so Scene might have had a bad corner, but if Scene can keep up... Oh, yeah, he lost a lot there. Okay, let's go away from him because we might be jinxing him a little bit. Whoa! Look at the 35 through the corner! Commander had nothing for him, and just as I was talking about, here comes Dylan with the run. We'll peak to the bottom. Mac will cover, but this 35 car is fast. Ooh, trying to pack air on the 44, get him a little bit loose, but Mac was able to hold his own. These are two drivers that have been battling for the lead their entire career. They know how to race each other. They've been clean their entire career, but both of these drivers have not won in a while. Dylan has won a few Xfinity races last year, but he knows he's better than that. While Mac, he just wants a win in something. And he's led a good majority of this race, but will it be a second verse to maybe Daytona in the Truck Series? Because here comes Dylan pressuring him as we are past halfway, still caution free. What a race we're singing.
I think Dylan's got him here in turn 1. Look how he's set up.
We also have just straight up not seen as many left cars yet. Like, they're slowly picking them off, but it's taken them a little bit to catch this 30 with how much they are battling. But now with Dylan in the lead, can Dylan run away?
You saw Mac getting passed by the 35 there. Not much choice but to concede the position in the inopportune lane. Obviously struggling maybe with the tightness of the car. Something isn't right for Mac. A little unwanted tightness through the lap traffic.
Oh yeah, Dylan struggled there. He wasn't able to run his preferred line because the 30 was there. Mac was able to run his preferred line. Back to the bottom. Dylan's gonna block, but can't do it. Mac's gonna pack some air on him, get him loose. And how about the Sunbelt Stars driver in the 44? We saw Mythical in the car last week at Daytona. Mac is in the car this week and back to the lead. Here comes Commander as well, trying to get back in the mix.
I think this trio of Noah, Sheldon, Preed, and Whitty could be the last lap cars we catch. Because if you look at the times, next would be Perry, and he's way ahead of them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for a little bit, that'll stop the left traffic. Just uncharacteristic days for Whitty and Spend. I thought they'd be better, but again, some of these drivers are not as familiar with the competition. While they might have raced Atlanta last season, they might not be familiar with all the bushwhacking competition. Maybe that's just gotten in their heads. I don't know, but I mean, you could just look at the ticker. It is these three against the world. Scene just can't close. Like, he seems to have a few laps where he gains, but then it just all goes down the drain. So it's going to be one of these three, I think, coming home with the victory here, as Slash and Javier, 25th and 26th on track. That damage has done a lot to these two, and I know if Javier gets this 51, he's not going to be happy, and I'm curious if he's going to maybe bring out this first caution. How about we have a moment right now where Macas gets the lead here. Good runs here for all three of these guys, and Raven making her first star. Gino kept Sup NASCAR and Redeem all inside the top 25, and especially for Gino Kep and Sup NASCAR, these are solid runs for these guys. Sup NASCAR is one of those guys I was worried that he'd be getting left, but he's held his own so far. Great run for Sup NASCAR so far, who will also be racing tomorrow. Great run for him, as Raven struggles a little bit here.
And you mentioned the misfortune with the 30 car. It's just been a rough weekend for those guys. It seemed they rolled off, kind of missed the setup. Started in the back of the race, ended up getting lapped pretty early on here. Just a tough weekend for those guys.
Yeah, Spend would maybe need a caution if he's still in the free pass spot. For now he is, but cautions just don't seem likely in this race. We've had a long green flag run here. We'll see what shapes out here with still a little bit over 20 laps to go. Mac has pulled a 1.5 second lead, as now he's picking off cars by Sheldon Preed, by Whitty. Mac is putting up a clinic in the later stages of this race, and Dylan and Commander, they're being a little bit selfish. They keep racing themselves for position, and that is dragging in the 7 of Scene. If this becomes a three-way battle for second, then it's just going to become even tougher for the 44 of Mac to be caught. As Mac...
Also, now Mac has teammate assistance back there. Whitty is his teammate, and Whitty, I mean, has kind of the teammate back. He was a back marker last season, and the few races he ran in 0-0. But he also has that, he definitely has that teammate mentality, and I think if it comes to it, he will block for the 44.
Going around
and these
Noah.
passes do move the 30 car Spend out of the free pass position, but Max got himself some clean air right now. Let's see how much he can build that gap, as those two are too wide. That's not going to be good for those guys in second and third.
Yeah, not at all. Here comes Scene. Here comes Scene up to third. Whitty just parked it on Commander, and I don't think that was on purpose. I think Whitty has just not had a good car today and just probably missed the setup, like Juan said about Spend earlier. A lot of rookies that are still trying to get accustomed. Sheldon Preed is someone I'm not surprised with. Just guys that are trying to get accustomed to this series and this track. But Arctic running 30th right now. Do we got any update on what's been going on with both him and the 29 today? Arctic?
Feels like it's just nerves. Arctic has never raced Atlanta before. Cole has never, I don't think he's ever raced Atlanta before. Well, he ran it in trucks, but even in a competitive car, a lack of experience in this place can be killer, and especially for Arctic.
Was Arctic still in the playoffs last season when Atlanta rolled around, or was that after he was eliminated?
Oh, right, yeah, she was not. She was winning round of 8.
Well, Arctic, he's been in the wall, by the way, if you look. That right side's a little bit bent in. He's been in the wall, so I'm sure that's not making his car any better, but second race for SW Motorsports just not up to par. I mean, Cole is struggling. Perry is getting outran by both of his teammates. Just a tough day, and Nexus Code as well. A lot of drivers that are just not on speed so far. Sup NASCAR is outrunning Javier, Nexus Code, and Slash. That must be amazing for that team to be running ahead of these three. Very nice to see, and got two teammates battling 21st and 22nd. Great runs for these two. Solid runs like these are what they need, and they're having it. But
Ooh, we maybe need to switch back to the lead here. I think Dylan has began closing in ever since Commander got kind of shuffled back.
Gap is 1.1 at the line. Ticker updates each lap. Next left car is the 47 again. Dylan's running more of a middle-ish line while Mac is committed to the bottom. There is Commander and Scene. We might have something form here. I'm not sure. I've pretty much felt the feeling that this is going to go caution-free.
Gap's now under a second to Mac for Dylan.
Gained 0.3 that lap.
Yeah, Dylan's radio. Spotter's telling him, go get him. He's our only competition. But I'm not sure if the spotter is true on that because Commander and Scene are keeping up. But Dylan's able to hold ground. But I think if Commander or Scene get in the way of Dylan, I think that's all that Mac needs. Because I think just like earlier in the race when they were closer together, when Commander and Dylan were battling, they were just slowing each other down. They need to just run single file here. 3 wide here. This is for, looks like 5th. Yeah, this is 5th. All of them here.
Look at this battle for the top 5.
NASCAR Sim, he's good in Atlanta. He has a win here. Not surprised he's running well, battling amongst the pole sitter. There's TXN, Doug, and Sean's been proving me wrong so far, having a great run so far. As we continue to watch the ticker, still 0.8, now down to 0.81. So gap is manageable right now, so we can stay on this route here as they all try and get around the 64 of Whitty. Whitty will get out of the way, but sadly that'll put CJ in a bad spot. CJ will get under him here. Battle for the top 5 right here. Dalton and Sean. Can Sean get underneath him here? Don't think so. He'll hold that 5th spot for now. NASCAR Sim looking strong. Gap is 0.3. Here comes the 35 of Dylan. And how about Scene trying to play spoiler? Oh, he's got a huge run. Mac has fallen off in the last few laps. And Dylan is there. Oh yeah, Mac is struggling. Big time.
Both these guys hungry for a win here. As you mentioned earlier, it's been a while.
Will Dylan try the high side? No, maybe peek there. Mac didn't cover. Dylan go back to the bottom. Mac will enter middle to cover. Pack some air on him and that'll work. You can see him lose a bit of time right there. Under 10 laps to go in what might be one of the quickest races we see all season. Oh, the 47 needs to get out of the way. She will, but she was being a little bit feisty right there, and that did what Dylan needed to give him the chance to look for the lead here. 9 laps to go.
Watch out for that 7. The 7 got the big benefit out of that.
Scene has cut the gap to 0.5, a half a second. Can Scene get a win? Only 2 races back in the Xfinity Series full time. Little bit of a gap there. Mac got a little bit of a gap. He found some speed there. Stays ahead of Dylan. Commander's yet to get around the 47, and that's it. You can see NASCAR Sim up to 5th. Great run for him. Other than that, none of these guys are keeping up with the top 4. As quick run down through the field here one last time. Boca Blitz has fallen back. Good battle here. These 3 and Breck Blue might get, Breck Blue, yes, but these 3, they might get left before the end. I'm not sure. Will that be Mac's struggle here? Because especially if these guys decide to race side by side, that will not be good for Mac, and that'll be all what Dylan needs. 7 laps to go at Atlanta, what has been one of the quicker races we'll probably see all season long, and it has been a battle of the veterans, battle of the cup drivers, but which one will come home on top? Mac, Dylan, or will Scene, a former cup driver, steal the win?
Even catch more right, Jeff. Seems like they're not catching them very quick anymore.
Yeah, Breckler's kind of keeping up with these 3. After that, it's definitely no more after that. It's just all about these 3 here. Dylan has kept the gap at pretty much the exact same. He ran the same lap time for two consecutive laps. I'm not sure. Mac is holding it well. This is going to be interesting here. Will Mac get a feel-good win, or can Dylan steal it? Dylan got a good run here. Gonna gain on him a little bit here.
These guys really evenly matched on pace. Dylan does gain a little bit, down to 1/10 of a second, almost 2. But he's right there with just 5 to go. Let's see what he can do.
Pretty even down the back straightaway. Both of them were pretty equal there. It's going to come down, I think, to the 5, maybe the 53. Oh, Dylan got a bad run there. He got air packed on him, lost a little bit of speed. Max just playing defense right now, and these 2 wait in the wings, hoping for a screw-up. I can't believe it. We might go caution-free here with only 4 laps to go. Mac's going to try and get by Breck Blue on the outside. He's going to get a run here. He'll be able to jump to his inside. Or, whoa! Yeah, he's actually trying to pass him on the high side here. This might not be good. That's not good at all. Dylan to the bottom.
He fumbled. He tried. I think he maybe tried to set up the cross up,
my
or it didn't go the way
goodness.
he did it. It went. And now Dylan has a lead, and here comes C.
Breck Blue gave him the bottom, or my bad, gave him the top. Mac just screwed up. Mac just screwed it up. Mac has been running his preferred line the entire race. The one time he had to run the top, he couldn't do it. Breck Blue gave him the top. He gave him the bottom as well. Breck Blue was running the middle. Breck Blue gave Mac the option to go wherever he wanted to go, but Mac just didn't do it. I'm concerned on what happened there. And now Dylan in the lead, 2 laps to go. Who's going to come home on top with possibly Arctic in the way? We will see. Scene battling with Mac for second. Scene's going to have the bad corner. Mac gets checked up big time. That might be what Dylan needs.
Mac gonna be really frustrated with himself here after that one. Probably angry driving right now, trying to get himself at least back into the second spot, salvage some dignity, but that one's gotta sting. Coming to white flag. 1 lap to go.
White flag is out here in the NAPA XFINITY Series. And Dylan, after taking the lead from Mac late in the race, he looks to have control. As they battle for second, Scene is falling back. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Mac might lose another one in just the worst fashion. Off turn 4, Dylan is going to go back to victory lane in a caution-free race. Dylan, winner at Atlanta. As the rest of the field comes by, Peyton's going to get a top 5 here. Big battle on back there for some top 10 spots. Here comes Mike across the line. Mike beat some heavy hitters. Great run for him. A lot of guys coming across the line here.
A little bit of a tough break for the 48. Fell all the way back to 10th in that final little 15-lap run after battling for the lead up early.
And Dylan is going to come home on top, and this sure will give him great momentum heading into tomorrow's race, the Cup Series. Was up there all day and passed Mac when the time was right. And for Mac,
Can't do this
oh, Bella came in hot there. As everyone comes back to pit road here, let's take a look at the finishing results from today's race. Let's take a look at the finishing results. Of course, we went over Dylan and Mac, first and second. Commander finished third. All 3 of them were really fast. Once Scene got away from that second group, he was flying, but just couldn't get it done. Peyton from the pole gets a nice top 5. Great run for Doug as well. How about NASCAR Sim? Great start to his season as more of kind of a mid-pack driver. Great run for him coming home 7th. TXN 8th. Sean with a nice top 10, and same as Dalton. Back throughout the field a little bit more. How about Mike for San Angelo Motorsports? If he continues to have runs like this, this team will be just fine. Even though Breck Blue struggled, Mike's doing just fine. Data crawled his way up to 14th, but with no cautions in the race, it was really tough for him to do much. Same as Cam, who finished 17th. Uncharacteristic days for Wolfie, Chase, and Boca Blitz in the top, barely in the top 20. Redeem had a good day. Sup NASCAR. And the back throughout the later portion of the field, every car finished the race. No issues other than the Slash and Javier thing. Doesn't really seem like much happened after that. Everything was kind of calm, and they'll all move on the next race hoping for the best. But for what could have been a top 15, top 10 day for Javier, ended up getting ruined from that Slash contact. Arctic had a bad day. Cole, teammates of Dylan, just struggled. And of course, all of our letdown cars, a lot of rookies and a lot of backmarker guys that you'd expect to be back here, and they'll hope for better next week. But a wild day of racing has concluded after the chaotic truck race and the action-packed battles we saw in today's Xfinity race. Tomorrow, the Cups drivers take their turn at Atlanta back in the daytime, where I think we're going to see somewhat similar to the Truck Series, where there's not going to be much grip as it's going to be daytime and it's going to be less slick. It's going to be awesome to see what happens in that race. And for me, Juan, and Mac in the MXTV booth, I'll see you guys for the Cup race in Atlanta and next week at Texas. Hope you guys enjoyed the race.